If there's one person you could go against, who would you choose? Like if you had
Tyson Fury.
What's happening, guys? Welcome to another episode. I was freezing earlier, that's why I'm wearing the snow jacket. Chris is clearly not freezing.
No, I'm not.
When you're training 50 times a day, I think you kind of, running on hot all the time.
Yeah, you are. But also it's more difficult to get warm in the winter. You're
It's true.
waking up past 4, quarter to 5. Not
It's
so
with
easy.
a low body fat as well. It's
Not
tough.
so easy, yeah.
Fortunately, I still got a little bit of a body fat to keep me warm during winter.
Oh, you're talking absolute nonsense, bro.
Bro, thank you so much for coming through. It is your second time. I think your fight was 2 weeks ago, huh?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
How was that, traveling to Tanzania? Is that your first international fight?
It was actually my first international fight. It was my first fight out of Johannesburg. Actually, no,
Okay.
I'm lying. I fought in Tel one time. And it was amazing, bro. To be honest with you, the Tanzanian people were very welcoming to us. And the show was unbelievable. And I promise you, the media was tenfold what we have here in South Africa. Literally, tenfold, easy.
And people think because it's like an African country, it's not going to, or a northern African country, it's not going to be as, there's not going to be as much money in the fights. And
Yeah, definitely. It was more red carpet than what we have here in South Africa. The venue was great. But when I say the media presence was... Boxing is the second biggest sport in Tanzania. There are more registered boxers in Tanzania than the rest of Africa.
What's their first?
Soccer, yeah.
Yeah, because I went to, what's that? Just out of Tanzania,
Zanzibar.
Zanzibar, yeah. I went to Zanzibar, and I mean, that soccer was big there, and they had so many jerseys, the Tanzanian jerseys. I actually had a Tanzanian football jersey as well. It's massive there. But I mean, the reception that you got there, I could see in your stories, I mean, they welcomed you like you were one of their own, bro.
Yeah, it was, it was really, they almost seemed like happy to have us there. Well, not seemed, they were happy to have us there. When we were walking the streets, everyone just stops you, says, welcome, how are you, good luck. It was a great experience. Obviously, it's Africa, Northern Africa, so it's like very rural, not very poor. Yes, it is very poor, but the streets are extremely clean.
Yeah, but we can say South Africa is very poor as well.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
yeah.
But there it's a whole different field. There they don't even have roads.
Yeah.
They don't have robots. It's hectic. The roads there are intense. And, there is a lot more poverty. But the people have pride there. The streets are clean. The people don't really commit crimes because they have very harsh sentences. Like if you're caught stealing, they cut your arms off.
Sure.
Gone.
What really is it? Muslim,
yeah. 80% Muslim, yeah.
So they just go off Muslim laws pretty much.
Yeah. So, the system operates pretty well, but the show was amazing. It was big, nice crowd. The people love sport there.
And I mean, you get there, they literally just look after you, eh? So like, let's say, breaking down your experience going to a fight, you arrive there, well, you going before, do they say, okay, well, this is your payday for the fight, and then within that, we're going to look after you and pay for your hotel room? How does it work?
So luckily, I have a very big international promoter, an American promoter by the name of Ivalo Gotsef. So my contract was completely through them, Epic Sports and Entertainment. So they're the ones that determine my payday. They're also the ones that draw up the contract for the fight. And Ivalo paid for everything while I was in Tanzania. Obviously, the hotel that we stayed at, the Onimo Hotel, provided food and accommodation, like free accommodation for the fighters and things like that. But anything outside of that was to my promoter's expense, which, he's really a great promoter. He really looked after us extremely, extremely well. And we knew what we were going to be earning a while before that. I even know what I'm going to be earning in my next 13 fights.
How does that work? Because obviously, like, let's say pay-per-view buys, how does it work in terms of something that's maybe more televised than it is pay-per-view?
Yeah, so, so the way pay-per-view works is it's a separate thing to your contract. So you'll get whatever your payday is. So let's say whatever you get, $20,000.
So that's almost like your guaranteed purse?
Yes, you guarantee $20,000. Then obviously your pay-per-view is how many people you draw into the show, and then they split that between each person.
So for you now, was it on pay-per-view?
No, that streaming site was completely free.
Okay.
Completely free.
So
yeah.
then you almost just get paid, up front.
Yeah, just your purse. And then obviously I've got great sponsors on board as well. So the sponsors also add to the financial situation, which is great. It's good to have good, honest sponsors. It helps a lot. I would say in boxing, it's one of the most important things as a fighter is to have good sponsors.
And in terms of a boxer and sponsors, is it better? Like, would your sponsors come up to you and be like, Chris, we'll pay you X amount if you last 10 rounds, or we'll pay you X amount if you knock him out in the first round? Like,
No. So I have had sponsors approach me to say that, like, if you get a big knockout, there'll be a bonus. But the sponsors they're pretty much a contractual thing. So we know what the sponsors are going to be paying us either per month, per fight, or an upfront payment for a certain period of time. So for whatever, 12-month period, 24-month period, I know what they're going to be paying me. I have had sponsors come up to me and say, if you get a big knockout, we'll give you a little bit of a bonus.
Bro, talking about a big bonus, this Floyd Mayweather and Jake Paul fight, we have to talk about it because it's current. And I mean, I even want to title this video reacting to Jake Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. I mean, Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather with a professional boxer. That's going to be the little clickbait on the thing, bro. So obviously you watched the fight.
I did,
So I first want to break down Floyd Mayweather initially starting out and then compare it to you and your mindset. So I think it was 2006. He bought himself out of his contract. And that's obviously the belief he had in himself was like, I'm worth more than this. I think it was $750,000 he paid to get out of his contract to become a free agent.
Yeah.
That's the belief in himself that's saying like, you know what, I've got this help. I've got people that are going to help promote me, but I'm bigger than them. It's having that self-belief. And obviously that's what you have as a boxer as well, self-belief. And how is it as a boxer because I mean, you need to be like, I'm the best. No matter what, no matter how, maybe hesitant or scared you are towards a fight or nervous, you kind of can't have those feelings as a boxer because it's almost do or die. It's if I show a little bit of weakness, my opponent's going to see that. How is it getting into the mind of a boxer and leading up to a fight and getting, like, is it a switch? Is it something that you always have, or like, how does it work for you?
To be honest with you, I don't fear anybody. I fear no man. There's no man alive that scares me. I believe that's something that you're born with. That kind of a heart is something that you are born with. And it's not because I'm a big guy that I fear nobody. There are welterweights, flyweights. There are small guys that fear no man. It's just something that's put in and inbred in a person, Obviously, everybody gets nervous. But the nerves is more on your own performance, Well, that's for me. I don't get nervous for the fight. I also don't get nervous to get hit because you don't get nervous when getting into a shower of getting wet. You know you're going to get wet. Same in the boxing ring. I know when I get into the boxing ring, I'm going to get hit. Obviously we try avoid getting hit. But I don't fear anybody. My last fight, I wasn't nervous at all, to be honest with you. You kind of learn as your career goes further and further along.
Was this one most recent?
Yeah, you kind of learn to control those nerves. But also, I don't get nervous because of the way that I train. I know that I leave no stone unturned. So, the fight is the enjoyable thing. And it might sound crazy, but I enjoy hurting people. I enjoy putting the hurt on people. I like seeing my hands do effect. And I like when I hit somebody, I like to see that I've hurt them. Not everybody has that in them, but that's why you don't play the sport of boxing. Boxing is a very dangerous sport. And if you really don't enjoy hurting people, don't do boxing. It's not the sport for you.
Putting the hurt on someone, that was you. Bro, his name, I can't even try to pronounce your opponent's name.
Don't.
What
Just call him Dowdy.
Dowdy. Imandi Dowdy Kawaya, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was 33.
Yeah.
It can be, you can put it together with, okay, obviously different level of standard, but, Logan and Floyd, you and your opponent, Floyd is 44 or something.
Yeah.
His last fight was Conor at 39. This guy, was he retired and then came back?
No, he wasn't retired at all, especially in those African countries, which is where I got to take my respect to people like that, That's the way that they put food on the table, they fight and, they earn a payday like that. So they try and do it as long as possible because that's their means of an income, and so for as long as they can fight, they will, because they're providing food for their kids and for their wives, and they're able to make a living. So the guy wasn't retired. He actually had a fight more recently than what I did. I fought before this. I fought in 2019 in November. So he fought more recently than what I did. He fought last year. Or he fought in the beginning of this year, actually. So he was a very short guy. There was a very big difference on skill level. He was far behind me, but which was good because I exposed that. Sometimes those spoilers or those guys that aren't as top class level can bring you down to their level, because that's how sport is and that's how boxing is. But I didn't allow that to happen, and I just showed my class, which was the most important thing for that fight. So it was also just good for me to get back in the round. The one thing I will say is that is the toughest guy I've ever fought. In terms of tough, I mean like the ability to take punches. I hit that hook very hard. I hit him very clean, and he didn't go down.
No matter how hard you try there.
Look, yeah, you know, in boxing, you don't really try and knock somebody out. It just happens. You know, you land a clean punch, and the punch that they don't see hurts them. So, and I was landing very clean punches that he didn't see, but he didn't go down.
And would you say trying too hard to knock someone out could also make you vulnerable as a
Definitely,
fighter?
100%. You can, in boxing, it's a funny thing. You can never try and knock somebody out because the second you try, it's not going to come.
It's the same as like cricket. When you try to bowl as fast as possible, your accuracy goes out. There's always a little bit of weakness. And if you just trying to focus on one thing, you know, your defense might be off. You might leave a little bit of a gap for him to almost
It's all about flow, you know. It's all about being smooth, all about being comfortable, you know, following a rhythm. You know, that's why a lot of people refer to boxing as a dance. It really is, you know. It's all about rhythm. It's all about doing the right thing at the right time in the right position. And that's how knockouts come, you know. You hurt a guy unexpectedly, or you knock him. My best knockout, I didn't know I knocked the guy out at all. The only reason why I knew I knocked him out was because I heard his head hit the canvas. I turned around already.
Was that like the end of the round, turning around to go?
It was the end of the round, and I hit him with the right hook, but I followed up, and as I hit him, the ball went, and I turned around, and I walked back to my corner, and I heard his head hit the canvas, and I looked back, and I was like, oh, gee, I just knocked that guy out.
And this fight now, was that your biggest payday or not?
No, it wasn't my biggest payday.
Do you, as a boxer, you know, I think as a heavyweight in South Africa, it's obviously difficult to get a fight, or not? Like a quality fight where it's actually worth your while, and it's also
Yes.
not degrading yourself to a level of standard.
Yes, big time, especially locally. There's not a lot of heavyweights. The heavyweights are very open for taking. But boxing it's on the up here in South Africa, you know. There's a right amount of tension, but the heavyweight division there's no one really in this country that can stand in front of me and give me a difficult time.
If there's one person you could go against, who would you choose? Like if you had
Tyson Fury.
No, I mean locally.
No one.
No one.
No one. There's no one that I say I really want to fight. But, you know, whoever they put in front of me, I'll beat. But there's no one here that I really want to fight, you know, because there's no one, like what you say, there's no one of that stature that will present me with that challenge, you know. So for now, I'm just following what my promoter puts in front of me. He's got a great plan. And, you know, he's done some massive shows. He put on the Anthony Joshua, Kubat Pulev fight in 2019 during COVID. That was his last big show. Then I'll be fighting again on the 30th of July. He's co-promoting that show in Tanzania, and then I'm going to fight on his show in Bulgaria on the 4th of September. That will be a very big fight. It'll be in a nice big stadium, probably 15 to 20,000 people, sure, live on ESPN. So that'll be my biggest fight of my career so far.
Yeah. And how, you know, was it, you know, you said your last fight was in 2019, and now obviously being 2021, being in a fight again. Did you go into it thinking like, you know, it's been some time off, or is it like riding a bicycle? The moment you're back in that, you know, in the ring, it was as if you'd never left.
Yeah, you know, some guys worry about so-called ring rust, or, you know, any rust in sport. But I sparred more than 200 rounds, so I've fought guys for more than 200 rounds leading up to the fight. It's actually my new love. I love sparring. I really enjoy fighting as training. So there was no ring rust. You know, I spent so many rounds fighting guys before the fight for 8 weeks. So when I had to get into it, and I was doing close to 45 rounds a week. So when I had to go get in the ring and do 6 rounds, it was easy.
And you know, you're always ready. You're always ready for that fight. I mean, you had 2 weeks' notice for this fight almost.
Yeah.
And that's obviously your next fight, you got a lot more notice.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll be more prepared,
Definitely.
or you just 100%. Always prepared?
Yeah, definitely better because we know the opponent. So we know what to do, myself and Shannon, my trainer. We know what to do in terms of setting the fight up, setting the guy up, what moves are going to work, what moves aren't going to work. So obviously with the time and the knowing the opponents, it does allow us to perform, or not perform better, but come up with a better game plan. And when you stick to a great game plan, you know your opponent's in trouble. But staying ready in boxing it's absolutely everything in boxing. Great example of an international fight that everybody will know about is Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz. He was ready. He got it on 3 weeks' notice. Remember, Anthony Joshua was not supposed to fight that guy. He was not supposed to lose to that guy. But Andy Ruiz was ready. And when he got the call from Eddie Hearn, he's shooting, sweet, I'll fight the best in the world. Let's have a go. And he beat him. And that's how it happens in boxing. You know, you got to always, it's my job. You know, my only job is to stay ready and stay prepared for a fight. So if I'm not doing that, how can I then hold my managers accountable? How can I then hold my promoter accountable to be saying, hey guys, you guys need to be either doing better or be doing more on both ends if I'm not doing it, you know? So at least if I'm ready, I can say, guys, where's my fights? Where's this? What's going on here? And if you're not doing that as an athlete, you're failing at your job.
That shirt you're wearing, is that all your sponsors there as well?
Yeah, this is all my sponsors. Shout out to CQC, Bidvest McCarthy, Ramberg, Transport Training, and my management system, Pro Sport International.
You just rocked up in the new Patrol, yeah?
I did, yeah.
How is that car?
Unbelievable. That's a big blessing in my life. You know, Nissan and I have been together already for 3 years, and the relationship is still going on, still going strong, and it's only developed. That new Patrol is very, very, very nice. Most of the politicians use it, and they make it like armory. They make it fully bulletproof, doors, windows, everything. So it's a very nice car, big blessing.
That's awesome, bro. And going now back to this fight, we have to speak about it because I mean it's just top of everyone's lips nowadays. So I mean, if we spoke about Mayweather believing himself. Now we go more onto the payday and the pay-per-view buys. If you look at McGregor and Mayweather, you know, I think Mayweather made $275 million for that fight. As a purse. McGregor made 85.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of that is pay-per-view buys, and obviously it could change. I think Mayweather's guaranteed purse was 100, and then, you know, more than doubled that.
Yeah.
Logan made more money than McGregor's fight.
100%.
Which is ridiculous.
Because he's got a bigger following.
Yeah, which is crazy because obviously, but I mean, their pay-per-view buys weren't anywhere near the same level as McGregor's buys. I mean, Logan them only sold, I think, 600 to almost 700,000 pay-per-view buys just in the US, where McGregor and Mayweather sold 4 million.
Jesus.
But Logan still made $100 million. Yeah. How does that feel for you as a professional boxer, having this YouTuber? Yes, he's worked hard in terms of building up a name, but, you know, is there a little bit of, okay, he's built up a name, he deserves to be on there, or is it he has to actually earn his stripes in terms of being a boxer to be up there?
He's not a boxer.
Yeah.
And neither is Floyd. Floyd's not a boxer anymore. And he was the one that said it. Logan Paul cannot in any world try and say he is a professional fighter. Are
you saying Mayweather is not a boxer anymore because he's retired, or because he's degraded himself?
No, not at all. Because he's retired. I'll be honest, I think Mayweather stamped his legacy very much so in boxing history, you know. In my opinion, he's not the best of all time. He is one of the best of all time.
The best?
The best fighter of all time. There's so many.
Would it be a heavyweight because that's what you do, so maybe you relate to that better?
No, not at all. I don't have a best. You know, there's so many guys. You know, if you look at someone like Julius Chavez Sr., that guy had like nearly 80 fights in 1 year. He went 13 years unbeaten. Nobody beat him in 13 years. And he had like 88 fights in that time. You know, then you get somebody like Joe Calzaghe, 49-0. You can't really tell me you're so much better than somebody because you have one more win than them.
I think at the end of the day, it's difficult to say who's the best.
Yeah, they're all great in different
Mayweather
things.
is the top 3 earning sportsmen of all time. Does that make him the best?
Or makes him the best money maker.
Yeah.
Look, he's amazing. You can't take anything away from Floyd. He's scientifically, bro, he's unbelievable. Best defensive boxer ever, 100%. Defensively, best ever. Best boxer, it's very difficult to put that into like a category, you know. There's so many guys that are so good at so many different things. But getting back to your question, I don't get sour that he made so much money because he put himself into that situation. And I truly believe no matter your geographic situation, no matter your home background, you can put yourself in that situation too, you know. He was also a little kid growing up with blonde hair that looked like a little wet that managed to put himself up on that stage. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, that's actually what Dana White, I don't know who the person, the MMA fighter who said this, but it was something like, you know, Dana White, why aren't we getting paid more? Why is it that, you know, these oaks who aren't even professional fighters come into this scene and make so much money. Well, where's our money?
Yeah.
And Dana White said to him, bro, then you go start a YouTube channel with 13. You go and do all these things and build up a name where that
100%.
even not being a fighter or not, you still get in that ring and getting paid so much.
100%.
So I think at the end of the day, you can't feel sorry for yourself. You just need to also do something to get to that level.
That's exactly what it is, you know. But Logan Paul can never say he's a fighter.
Yeah.
He can never say he's a professional boxer. He has never really fought anybody.
But
he fought that KSI, who cares?
And he lost.
He lost to KSI, nobody cares about
Yeah.
KSI. He fought Floyd Mayweather, which is great, you know, Floyd's amazing. But that came in at 88 kilos. Floyd was 13 kilos lighter than him, and let's call it 2.5 feet shorter than the guy. They're two completely weight divisions completely they're apart. So, and Floyd was walking him down like a little bitch. That shouldn't happen. So Logan can never say he's a professional fighter. He's not. He's never lived the professional fighter's lifestyle. Maybe he's done it for a year. Well done. But he's not a fighter at his core. You know, he doesn't have that dog in him. That's why he's not willing to challenge somebody that's in his weight division. Why are you not fighting somebody like Alexander Usyk, Dorticus, or local guy Kevin? Fight somebody that can bang a bit. That's in your division. Okay, you wanna come and say you're a fighter, then fight a fighter. But he's not saying that he's a fighter. Even himself, he said, "How crazy is this that he's doing it? It's crazy. Well done, bro. You did great, but you didn't fight. You had a little exhibition, and you made a lot of money. So well done to you." And genuinely well done to you, because you fooled a whole bunch of people to buying into your bullshit, and that's great. And I'm not sour about it. And if anybody else can do it, they should. But they should not dare think that it's easy to come into boxing and make money out of boxing, because it's not.
Yeah. The only reason they are there is because of the name they've built themselves on social media. It's not their talent.
How much money do you think J-Lo and Beyonce would make if they fought?
That's actually, Dana White had another comment where he's like, yes, think about if Kim Kardashian had to come on and have a fight with some other female MMA.
She'll make millions.
They'll make millions, but no one wants to see that.
Yeah,
people did want to
see.
They
will want to see it because they'll buy into it, because they want to see what's going on there.
Yeah, that's true. They want to see her get knocked out. That's exactly what they did. Logan had people that either like him and thought he could do it, or they had people that hate him and wanted to see him get knocked out. All they wanted.
Same with Floyd.
Yeah, same as Floyd. I mean, bro, Floyd was definitely more hated than Logan going into this fight.
People hate him, bro.
And that's what sells. People that hate you or people that love you still pay the same price.
But it's funny, haters spread your name much further and much wider than what the people that support you do. Because haters just, everyone, oh, did you see Chris? Did you see this? Did you see this? Did you see this? Negativity spreads quick. Positivity, not so quick.
That's also, people always remember the thing you did wrong, not the thing you did right. Which at the end of the day, in terms of something that you need eyes on something to make more money, it's not the end of the world. If people say, oh, Chris should have done this in his fight, or Chris sucks, Chris, whatever, who cares? Because at the end of the day, they're going to watch your next fight. They're going to pay to watch your next fight, and you're the one that's just going to benefit from it.
You'll always get critics, You'll always get critics. My last fight, people were saying to me, oh, but why is he so short, and why is this? I don't know why he's so short. Ask his mother. I didn't breed the oak.
Yeah.
You'll always get
division. Either way, he's in my division.
100%. If you're heavyweight, you're heavyweight. If you're a welterweight, you're a welterweight. But you'll always get people saying negative things. Oh, but you didn't knock him out. You didn't do this. But they won't see the performance that you put on. You'll always have people being negative. That's just part of life. That's just part of putting yourself in the spotlight. And you just kind of got to eat that up and move on.
And these next fights you're going into, is there obviously more of a person there?
Yeah. My, I'm very blessed to be in the position that I'm in. Be making dollars only, which is a great blessing, moving the dollars over into rand currency. So my next fight will be...
Just wait till the dollar strengthens to bring it back in, bro.
Yeah, man, what's going on, bro? It was 17, 20 not so long ago.
Now it's like 14,
The
bro.
gold's we got to pump the gold, man. I am very blessed that my next couple of fights will be very good paper. It will be good purses, and not very, very, very nice exposure. When I fight in September, I'll be live on ESPN, which is the biggest sporting channel for the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah, everyone knows it.
ESPN Plus.
So what's your goal? Obviously, is it to be the best heavyweight?
The best.
And how do you get there? Obviously, taking
beating
fights.
Everybody.
But how strategic is it?
It is very strategic. That's why you got to know. That's why you got to have a promoter that knows what he's doing, and that's not willing to sell you out for money, because you do get those big money fights that come along as you kind of climbing the rankings, and you got to have a promoter that has his own bucks and that knows the game and that says, okay, wait, hold on, this is not the wisest fight right now. Although it's decent money, let's rather take this purse and let's go this path, because the end goal is to be world champion, and the end goal is to make $100 million fighting either Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, one of those guys. And that's my goal. I want to fight those guys. I want to fight the best in the world. I often get asked, would I fight Mike Tyson in his prime? Of course I would. What fighter wouldn't want to fight Mike Tyson in his prime? That's the fighting spirit. I want to feel that guy's power in his prime. I want to see what I could do against somebody like that. I want to fight Tyson Fury, even though he's 7 foot. I want to see what I can do against a big guy like that moves that way. I'd love to fight Anthony Joshua. I'd love to see the way that my skill works up against his skill, my power against his power. Because if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, But there is definitely a path in order to do that.
I think anyone that wants to achieve something great can't have any doubt in their mind, regardless of how tall that mountain seems. You can't have any doubt. No matter what other people are telling you, no matter what anyone else says in terms of maybe you shouldn't try to do that. Be realistic. Even Logan after the fight said, after this, I don't want anyone to tell me that something is impossible.
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean that as a fighter, you have to be like that, because the moment a little tiny seed of doubt is planted in your mind, it can spread, and you kind of need to kill that seed the moment it's even there.
100%, and also people around you often hold you back. They say, you're not ready for this. You're not, no, don't do this, because you got to have belief in yourself and say, you know what, I know what I'm worth. I know what I stand for. Let's go for it. Let's do it this way. And, like you say, anyone that wants to do something great, you really got to have immense belief in yourself, because as the ladder starts climbing, it just gets more and more and more outrageous what you start saying. And it's outrageous for me to be sitting here in a podcast in South Africa saying I'm gonna fight Tyson Fury. It's crazy, but wait, it's crazy until it happens.
Yeah.
Then everybody's like, oh wait, hold on, he said that a couple of years ago in South Africa in a podcast that he's gonna fight Tyson Fury. Now he's fighting Tyson Fury. What happened?
You'll make me famous if it comes true, bro. You better make
it's gonna come true. I promise you, it's gonna come true. But it's that whole period of self-belief in between it that needs to stay constant, It's also the self-belief that drives you. Trust me, my pet hate is it when people find out you're a pro athlete and you have sponsors and nice things like sponsored cars and sponsored clothes and things like that. And they say, oh, it must be so nice. And I'm like, yeah, it is very nice. But what I do to earn those things is not very nice. I put my life on the line pretty much 3 times a week. And I do things that I don't want to do all the time, and I pretend like I want to do it.
Yeah.
That's not so easy.
Yeah. I get that, and you get that obviously as well in terms of sport and then in business. I've got friends who'll be like, yo, it must be nice to not have to go to work every day. It must be nice to, dictate your own schedule. I'm like, yo, it's nice, but from the moment I finished school, I started building something. From the moment I left school, I didn't party every single night at varsity because I wanted to have fun. I made sure that I was building a brand. I made sure that I was, creating something of value and of substance so that I have a future, and a past and something that I've built up to be proud of. Yeah. It's not just like people say, oh, it must be nice to have that, or it must be nice to be able to afford this. I'm like, yeah, it is nice to have it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it wasn't nice waking up at 4:30 every morning. It wasn't nice going to bed at 12 while everyone else is going and partying and you still behind your computer working. That is not nice. But the grind is so worth it. Yeah. And there was actually a quote I saw the other day, which is true, but also it's more the journey as well. It's how you and what you learn about yourself. Because I think the quote was, everyone wants a high standard of living, but you're almost sacrificing the present for the future. Yeah. So you are sacrificing, but if you have the mindset of enjoying the hustle and enjoying the grind, it makes the sacrifices definitely worth it.
Obviously, if you've got a bigger picture in mind, then it makes that all worth it. Now shortly when I leave in July, I'm away for 3 months. Which is not ideal. I have a girlfriend that's at home alone, dogs, house that I need to take care of while I'm abroad. But, we give that all up for the time being because I'm going to be a world champion. So when that happens, all of this side problems that we had to lose out in life, whatever, friends of mine getting married, I'm not here, I'm overseas, or dog gets sick and I can't attend to the dog because I'm overseas. That's all. It's going to all be okay because the goal in life is to become a world champion.
Yeah.
And when it happens, it's worth it,
Yeah.
And you just gotta stick to that hustle.
And that's also what's nice, having a woman that supports you. There was a quote I read. It was, it's all fine and well having a woman that wants to party. I want to have a woman that has a vision. I want to have a woman that is driven towards something. I don't want to have, like, let's say someone that's, let's just use you as an example, professional sportsman. Let's say you come to a point where, you're earning what Floyd Mayweather earned, right? Mm-hmm. Where your fiance, wife, your girlfriend, whatever it is at the time, they don't have to work, bro. They don't have to do anything to, they don't have to work. I mean, if you're
100%.
earning 100 million a year, they don't have to work.
Yeah.
$100 million even. Yeah. You don't have to work. They don't have to work. You're just fighting. They could be partying. They could be living this luxurious life. But if you have a woman that is driven and hardworking, that's more rewarding having that by your side 100%. Than having someone that just is kind of leeching off you.
Yeah, 100%.
How is that, going away for 3 months now, in terms of relationship? Obviously, you guys are stable, you're strong, and you got dogs, and like, how is that? Because obviously now Sasha's only away for 6 weeks, come back away for 6 weeks again. But now you're going away for 3 months. How is that in terms of a relationship? It's never easy.
I don't know. I'll tell you when I get back. No, but it is never easy. But like what you say, as long as you have somebody that supports you and understands why you're doing it, it makes it a lot easy. Yeah, because there's no jealousy involved and there's no like nitpicking. Oh, what are you doing?
But also, you're going to fight. You're not going to be thinking about anything else other than the fight.
Yeah, of course. When you go overseas for sport, everybody thinks it's so luxurious. It's not really. You sit in a hotel room that's not very big, and you go to the gym, and you go back to the hotel room, and then you go to the gym, and then you go to the hotel room, and then you got a whole bunch of media obligations that people drive you around to and keep you busy with, and then take you back to the hotel room, and then you go back to the gym, and you're not there for a party,
you can't party as a professional sportsman.
We're there to go to war, boxing's a dangerous sport, so when you're there, it's all focus. But to be honest with you, I'll go away gladly, and I'll go away for a year if I have to. I'll go away for 2 years if I have to, if that means that I'm going to achieve what I have to achieve, because I'm going to achieve it no matter what happens, no matter the doubt, like you say, no matter the hate, no matter whatever life throws at me. We're just going to keep grinding until it happens, and it will happen.
Have you got a date? Have you set a date for yourself, like by 2026 or whatever, 2024? What's your date in terms of being the world champion?
2023.
So 2 years' time.
Yeah, definitely.
And who you taking out before you get to the...
Whoever stays at the top. Yeah, I would really... I think of a nice fight for me currently, one of the big guys... I would love to fight Joe Joyce. I can beat that guy in 8 weeks' time.
So how do you go about, like, you want to fight him? How do you go about getting that? Obviously, it's up to your promoter as well. But how do you... Because a lot of these fights now on social media is just causing beef. Yeah. It's just causing a little bit of a social media rivalry. Yeah. And then people are like, we can capitalize on this. We can make money off this fight. Let's make it happen. How is it possible? Like, let's say if you just tweeted the guy, or if you just... tag him in a post or whatever, and make a video tuning him saying you want to take him out. Like, how easy is it in terms of like being in South Africa? Like, I mean, obviously overseas, it's very easy for someone to just, someone that's in the space overseas, message Tyson, DM, or not even make a post on Instagram to Tyson Fury, and he sees it and be like, I want to take this guy out. Yeah,
look, obviously there is world rankings and stuff like that, so you have to climb the ladder. You have to earn. See, that's the nice thing about boxing is you're gonna have to earn your stripes. You're not just gonna have 2 fights, 3 fights, or 12 fights, and then just say, hey, I want to fight Tyson Fury, because they're going to kind of say, well, you don't really deserve to, because if you're going to be fighting Tyson Fury, you're going to be making $50 million. You don't deserve that. Yeah. You've got to earn your stripes, and then when you earn your stripes, then you can come talk your shit, and you can want to fight. Great example is after Canelo's fight. Who was it? I think it was Jermaine Chola. I don't know. One fighter walked into his press conference and started calling him out and saying, "Hey, we're a great fight, but when are we going to do it?" And Canelo just looked at him and said, "Bro, you're a horrible fighter, bro. You're like, we're never going to fight. You're joking. You don't deserve to fight me. You're a horrible fighter. Who have you fought?" And that's exactly how it is. You got to earn your stripes, you know. And so you got to rack up a whole bunch of wins. And, you know, when you do get onto that top 10 level, then you can call out whatever you want to call out, and then it's go time, you know.
So is it still like that in terms of, because obviously Mayweather and Logan were an exhibition, different story, you know, but like if you are, let's say you've got 1 million followers, you are maybe a top 20 contender.
You'd get it.
Would you get it?
Yeah, I think you would. Because, you know, at the end of the day, it's entertainment, you know. Although it's fighting, it's entertainment, you know. And if you're getting millions of people to buy into the fight, the promoters are going to put on the fight because they're going to make a whole bunch of money. Remember, it's all for money.
Yeah.
This whole game is for money, you know. And it's an old age thing, fighting, you know, where people used to fight in sandpits and stuff like that, and people used to throw bets down.
Gladiators, bro.
It's pretty much still the same thing. It's just a little bit more
classy,
yeah, a little bit more lights action.
Yeah.
So look, if you're going to be putting bums on seats, that's why it happened. If you're going to put bums on seats, you can pretty much fight anybody, and it's showing that today big time. You know that Tyron Woodley is going to fight his brother. His brother's name is Jake.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Tyron Woodley is going to make more money in this fight than he made in his entire UFC
it's
career.
the same as when Jake fought Ben Askren, bro. But that was a joke fight. Let's be real.
No, but that Ben Askren's a bum, man.
Yeah,
he
literally
can't fight
looked
for
like
shit.
He's an amazing wrestler, of course. I mean, Olympic wrestler, definitely.
No, but you're not boxing.
You're boxing. Talented athlete. You know, it doesn't matter how talented you are as an athlete. You can go to the Olympics for wrestling.
Yeah.
But if you're not a talented boxer, that's why these oaks can take these fights. You know, that's why Jake can go against pretty much anyone that's maybe in MMA space.
Of course.
Because it's a safer bet for him going against someone who's not solely specialized in boxing. You know, Jake maybe eventually, or he definitely wants to, build up to an actual professional boxer. But it's going to take time for going through these already two. Now, this is the second retire.
I just think he's going to carry on robbing the bank. They're going to carry on making bombs.
But you not think he's going to keep going, and then when he actually fights a real professional boxer, he's going to see the money in it.
He's going to get knocked.
You think? He's definitely better than Logan, though.
I don't know, bro. I can't give my opinion. They're not.
They're not
They're
obviously not professional standard.
But you know, good luck to them, bro. And I take my hat off to them because, you know, like what you say, Dana White says, if you can do it, then do it. Yeah. You know, everybody's hating on them because, you know, I've seen a lot of fighters, like a lot of professional fighters, both MMA fighters and boxers, getting sour because they're not making that money. So go get that money, bro. Go put on some crazy fucking highlight deals, knock people the fuck out, or fucking choke people the fuck out, or kick them in the head several times, and you'll make that fucking money, bro. You'll make that same money as if you give them something to buy into. You know, he just had a great YouTube channel that people bought into, and then he was able to use that to fight one of the greatest fighters ever. You can do the same thing. Nobody's special.
You said that you have that mentality that you're born with of, you know, I'm a fighter, I'm a killer, I'm not afraid of any man. Definitely Logan has that same thing. Because you could see he was not nervous for that fight. Obviously, he's a showman. Yeah. But, I mean, going into that fight, you could see he wasn't nervous.
Well, would you be nervous fighting a 12-year-old?
Of course.
You would?
No.
You, I'm asking. Would you be nervous if I brought a 12-year-old into this room and said you must fight him?
No. Did I say? I meant to say Logan wasn't nervous.
Yeah, but he's fighting a tiny little oak. What's he nervous of, bro?
Yo, still, 44-year-old Floyd is still one amazing boxer.
Yeah, 100%.
He's definitely, like, even any one of the top boxers today would still be a little bit nervous going against Floyd. Because you don't know.
I think Logan's a bitch.
You rate?
Yeah.
You rate it's all just a show?
And yes, I do. And he's very good at he's very used to having camera lights action over him because he's a superstar. So he's very used to that kind of attention and that kind of spotlight and that stage, because pretty much anywhere he goes, he has cameras on him and lights. And I think he kind of knew that he was going to get beat up in that fight, and that he wasn't going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why he hasn't fought like a real top contender, like if you want to say you're going to come as a YouTuber and fight the cruiserweight world champion. Why are you going to go fight an exhibition fight with big gloves, first of all?
Yeah.
There's a big difference
Like
between...
12-inch, yeah? What are they?
Yeah, 12 ounce. I think they fought in 14
ounce.
or 12 or 14 ounce gloves, which is a lot different to a 10 ounce glove. Also a lot different to fighting a guy that's your weight.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's a fighter at heart. And I think if you had to get into a ring and start really tagging that guy, either he's going to cower down or he's going to turn his back.
If you compare the Mayweather-McGregor fight compared to Logan and Mayweather's fight, McGregor looked a lot worse off in the fights. Do you think it was maybe due to Mayweather's age, or do you think it was because he was just playing the crowd?
No, size, bro. Size, weight. There's a reason why there's so many weight divisions in fighting. Makes a big difference, bro.
But do you not think maybe it was also like Floyd kind of saying, okay, well, I'm going to make more money the longer I keep this going. Let me,
No, but he won't make more money.
You don't think his sponsors would be like, you give me 8 rounds of showing my...
No ways.
Why
No,
not?
they have a settlement amount on those pants. Like, I watched an interview where Mayweather said just on his pants he made $30 million.
Yeah. But you don't think they said, we'll give you 30 million if you show us for 8 rounds?
I don't believe that, no. Because I've never had that happen to me. That could have happened. How many rounds did Conor and Floyd fight? 10.
Yeah, I think it was 10. It was the whole fight though.
Was it 12?
I think it was a 10-round exhibition.
10 round, yeah. There's a big those next 2 rounds.
Yeah. No,
So
I mean,
hard.
Logan was dead. That last round, he was
If
finished.
that was another 2 rounds, I think Floyd would have stopped him.
You obviously saw that one bit where it looked like Mayweather knocked him out and then he like hugged him and he was holding him up. Do you think he actually did get knocked out?
No ways, bro. If you get knocked out, you're going to the ground.
No, but it was Mayweather caught him almost.
Nah.
And then everyone's saying, obviously it's just kind of the media kind of
People
trying to
don't
spin
know
a
shit
story.
about boxing. Yeah, no ways. No, to be honest, he didn't really... Floyd was hurting him to the body.
Yeah.
But I don't think he rocked him one time.
And that's just also the size difference. I mean, an 80, 90 kilogram guy getting hit by a 65 kilogram, whatever, 70 kilogram guy.
Yeah, it's a huge difference, bro.
Because obviously, I assume Logan was sparring relatively the same size individuals because
Definitely
the harder
he
you
was,
train, you're going to train harder in practice so that when you go to battle, it's slightly easier.
100%. If you're wise, you'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his coach, is he a good coach? Logan's coach?
Yeah, he is. He's a very good coach. But you can only coach what's in front of you. If you don't have a great fighter in front of you, well, unlucky, bro.
Yeah.
But coaches make a huge difference in any sporting code. So yeah, he did have and he had some really good guys around him. I saw that Ryan Garcia was in his corner the whole time.
He's a good fighter.
That kid can fight, bro.
He is fast.
That kid can fight. So, you're getting advice from those kinds of guys. And, I think Logan Paul is probably actually a very nice guy and he's very humble and he probably listened to his corner quite a bit because he kind of learned how to box a bit, which he never knew how to do. Yeah. So, obviously, he had to get the education from somebody.
Speaking of Ryan, bro, like he is also, like he said, there's a video of him saying, Logan's going to knock Mayweather out at X round, whatever it was. Yeah. Like he knows, he's a professional boxer. He knows that Logan could not actually go toe to toe with Mayweather. So is that him trying to get more fame and more clout and more clicks? And
I think he's just trying to pick
being a boy
side.
To Logan.
Yeah, he's picking sides, bro.
If
we go to fight, if I'm going to go fight somebody, you best be on my side.
Yeah,
bro.
of course. Even if you go against someone I actually think you're going to lose against,
you're going to say that my boy's got it. Yeah, 100%.
And how, like a coach, because obviously your promoters get a cut of the purse.
No, they don't.
Well, so obviously, but I mean, they get a cut of
the show.
Yeah. How does a coach work?
They get 15%. Manager 15%. Yeah. So you give 15% of whatever you make to your trainer and 15% of whatever you make to your manager.
And so there's no like salary. It's kind of just when we fight, you get.
Yeah, no salary. Also, like you can get a team sponsor. So you can get a sponsor that will sponsor myself and the coach. And then the coach can make a salary from the sponsorship,
So now going into this next fight, you got 8 weeks, huh?
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
What are you doing different to prepare? So obviously, you said you're enjoying sparring a lot more.
Yeah.
What else have you maybe taken from this fight that you kind of say, okay, well, this was a weakness here, or I can improve on this? Or
well, what I did was I stopped running when I moved up a weight division because running hurts my body and it's actually it's not a very good way of getting fit at all. You don't really get fit from running, actually, at all.
Just kind of build endurance almost. Not really.
Even, bro. Not even. Because then runners would be fighting.
That's true.
Because if running is good for fighting, then why isn't fighting good for running?
You're just
understand what I'm
training like
saying?
more with Josh and doing like
Yeah. So Josh really helps me out a lot. Josh is my strength and conditioning coach. He's the guy that gets me fit and ready to fight, and strong and ready to fight. And he really knows what he's doing in that avenue. So the biggest thing I did is I stopped running, and it's made my power and my endurance immensely higher because my body is not depleted. Because I found when I ran, it took me, I'm not exaggerating, 2-3 weeks to recover from a run. And so I stopped running completely. I'm not running at
also
all.
because you are heavy and you're a big guy.
I'm
So
109 kilos,
your joints
bro.
take a lot of stress.
100%. And the actual muscle takes a lot of strain. And there's much better ways of getting fit.
So what are you doing now to get fit? Within those stages, obviously you don't want to tell secrets here, but like what certain like cardio machines, let's say, or what is it more just intense training?
So like Josh puts a program together for me. I'm seeing him now 5 times a week, of which 2 of those are strength sessions, then 2 of those are big like glycemic sessions for the lungs, and then the other one is just like an upskill management of the body kind of a session.
So you're almost not doing less cardio by taking out, or you're not doing less cardiovascular, not cardio in terms of running, cycling, whatever, but you're doing maybe less running, but still the same amount of elevated heart rate work.
Yes, way less running, bro. But remember, boxing is not, your heart never does this. Even in boxing, which it does in running.
Yeah.
In boxing, your heart does this. You know, it goes up, down. You throw a flurry of punches. The guy attacks you. Oh, wait, then you got a little bit of space. You know, that's the way that the heart works in boxing. So you got to train the heart the exact same way when you're training. But if you want to get fit for boxing, box, fight people. If you want to get fighting fit, fight.
So sparring.
Nothing else.
How often do you spar?
3 times a week.
And other fighters? Like obviously different coaches do different things.
Some guys spar once a week. Some guys spar once every 2 weeks. Some guys spar 4 times a week.
And like sparring now 3 times a week compared to when you last fought 2019, how often were you sparring then?
So now I'm doing about between 50 and 60 rounds a week. I would say I was probably doing 20 rounds then.
Okay.
Big difference.
Yeah. So doing double the amount of sparring, would you say you're twice as ready almost?
More than twice as ready.
And is that also a lot of the fitness is the sparring sessions as well?
That's all the fitness, you know. Like it's one thing for me to go sit on a salt bike and go to 2,500 watts. But that doesn't mean shit if I can't go 12 rounds in the ring, you know. Before I was going 5-6 rounds and I was so tired I had to spit my gum guard out. Now I'm going 15 rounds. I don't even have to drink water, take my gum guard out. I'm sweet. I don't even pant. Because you got to learn the system that works.
So your fight now was 6 rounds.
Yeah.
What's your next fight? Is it
12 round.
12 round. How come it was 6 now?
Just because that's what the promoter put in front of us. Obviously, I hadn't fought in a very long time, but my next fight will be a title fight, and it will be a 12-rounder.
How gassed were you? Were you gassed at all in those 6 rounds? Obviously, you said
No, I didn't even sit down.
didn't even sit down.
No, the chair was too low, and I was like, I'm not going to sit all the way down there. It's like far for me to go down. So I just
At him, he was sitting.
Yeah, so I just kicked the chair out of the ring, and I tuned Shannon. I said, bro, I didn't need to sit. I'm so fit. 6 rounds.
Like that fight now, have you had more difficult sparring sessions?
Oh, way more difficult sparring sessions, bro. Normally you have more difficult sparring sessions than a fight. Sometimes you see much better boxing in a sparring session than what you do in a fight.
So who now, like, are you sparring against other professional heavyweights, or do you just mix and match between divisions just to
So
get a
we
feel of
do.
different
I
people?
don't spar anything less than a cruiserweight. So that's like one under me. It's 90 kilos. So the only guys I'll spar are cruiserweights and heavyweights. And I'm very lucky that I've sparred maybe 8 different sparring partners. It's great to have a lot of different guys in front of you, different shapes. It's very intelligent to do that, because then when you get into the ring, you've seen a lot of different situations that you'll be able to adapt to in the fight.
How do you go about, getting sparring partners? Because, like, obviously you've watched the movie Warrior.
Yeah.
Whereas they're just like, we need a sparring partner now. Call up this oak. He's 2 hours away. Get him to come. We'll pay him. So now, locally, like in South Africa, how does it work?
Pretty much the same.
So would you like phone a guy in KZN and be like, bro, I need a training partner for a week. Come down. Or
Yeah, so there's a guy in Cape Town, Tian Fick, that phoned me like 2 or 3 days ago and said he's got a big fight in the Ukraine. Will I come help him? And I was in Cape Town about 4 weeks ago, actually, and I helped him again. So that is kind of how it works. You phone one another. Hey, bro, I need some rounds with the Southpaw Orthodox, tall guy, big guy, heavy guy, fast guy. Will you help me with
Was
sparring?
he cruiser or heavy?
Heavy.
And
Tall
I
guy.
assume that also obviously helped you a lot as well.
Yeah. Of course, bro. It's beneficial to both parties. Sparring is always
Is
beneficial.
he professional?
Yeah. He's actually the South African heavyweight champion.
Okay.
But he can never fight me. I'll knock him out cold.
So why aren't you guys fighting? Or don't?
He's on his own path, and I'm on my path. And
So
if
how's
it crosses,
his path different to yours? And
he's very old, and he doesn't want to. He does want to fight me. He wants to make a couple of big paydays overseas, and which is great, which I'll help him do. But if we had to fight, I'll beat his ass bad.
So in those sparring sessions, you're rocking him a bit.
Yeah, look, I definitely won the sparring, but sparring doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Sparring and fighting are two very different things. So, if he needs help to go fight guys in the Ukraine, I'm glad to help him.
Awesome. Bro, good luck for the next 6 weeks.
Thank you very much.
We're rooting for you. Gonna watch that fight as
Let's
well.
go, baby.
And then after that, how many weeks after that one?
Another 6 weeks,
Another 6
4th of
weeks.
September.
Awesome, bro. Good luck.
Thank you.
We're ready to see you in Tyson Fury on the...
Soon. Stay tuned.
Yeah, you heard it here first, guys.
Yeah,
Actually, you probably heard it somewhere else as well.
definitely.
Anyway, guys, thanks for listening, bro. Thanks so much for coming through.